Next, we got types of people after high school, our last video of the day.
You did it. You graduated. You survived 4 years of awkward class presentations, school lunches that probably violated the Geneva Convention, and your Discord group chat did not get leaked. But now you're out. You're free. And suddenly that question hits like a truck. So what's next? Some people sprint toward college like it's the finish line. Others clock into a job 2 days later like, yep, this is life now.
I know before it was mostly just people going to college because it was so pushed, at least in my family, it was very pushed that college was the end game. You know, college is everything. And now I realize college is not everything. Don't force yourself to go to college if A, you're not ready, or B, you don't know what you want to do. Don't waste your money and be in debt.
And then there's the rest of us just sitting in our rooms like, should I start a podcast or a pyramid scheme? Let's talk about it. The types of people after high school and how weird this phase of life actually is. Starting off, we have the college dreamer. These are kids that always knew they were going to college. They had a dream school, a major, a life plan, a backup plan, and a backup for their backup. They got their—
Bro, that's my sister! That's my sister! That's her. Me, I was kind of just winging it. I didn't care about anything and everything, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do in life. I don't know what I like. I guess I'll do this. I don't know. I genuinely did not know what I wanted to do, and I just did whatever.
Their dorm set up off Pinterest, joined a Discord server for their class before orientation, and had their roommate's name memorized before they even graduated high school.
That's too much!
Fast forward a few weeks and it's like, yeah, I'm 14 grand in debt, I hate my major, and my roommate's been coughing since the second week of school. College is cool if you know what you're doing, but most people don't. Most people just go because they're told to by parents, teachers.
Me! I wish I took a year off. I wish I took a year off from college. I'm gonna be honest, because I went into college being forced to go by, you know, people that I work with, people that my parents, but I didn't know what I wanted to do yet. I didn't even know anything about college. I didn't have any help or anything to tell me about it. And after going through it, obviously I do, and I gave warnings to my siblings that I've learned. And they actually took it and applied it, and they're much better off than when I went to college. I fucking hate it.
Teachers, guidance counselors, and the ghost of the American dream, and now you're paying 40 grand a year just to cry in a communal bathroom. Fun times. Then there's the people who skip college and go straight into the workforce. They start working warehouse jobs, retail, construction, whatever gets the bills paid. They're making money, stacking checks, and eating out every night because they still live at home and only have 3 bills. At first it sounds smart. You're making money right away, no student loans hanging over your head, and your weekends are free if you're lucky. You start thinking, hey, this might actually be a better path. But then the reality sets in. The hours are long, the pay isn't as life-changing as you thought, you're constantly tired physically and mentally, you go home drained, you wake up drained, and every day starts blurring together.
Yes, that's the thing that happens. You don't even have to be in as soon as you're in your 20s doing this. You can be in your 30s, your 40s, and you're doing this, and it still feels like that. The problem with this, they have no issue people doing this as soon as they leave high school. But my piece of advice, if someone decides to do this, save your money. Don't waste it on frivolous stuff like buying food out every single day, buying this product because you saw in a TikTok shop. Don't buy stuff from there. Don't do it. Don't do it. Save your money.
Twice your age who have been there since before you were even born, and they'll say things like, it's not great, but it's a job, or at least it's stable. They're not chasing anything. They're just surviving. And then that's when it hits you. This isn't a launch pad. This is where people stay because they don't have time, energy, or options left to go anywhere else. It becomes routine. Wake up, commute, work, home, sleep. Do that for the rest.
That was me, but with school. Wake up, school, work, sleep. Wake up, school, work, sleep.
Rest of your life, with maybe 2 weeks off per year if your boss approves the PTO. And for a lot of people, the scariest part isn't even the job itself. It's the idea that you could blink and suddenly be like 40, still there, still stuck, wondering what your life could have been if you'd done something else. Then there's that person, the one who said, I'm taking a gap year, not because they—
What's wrong with taking a gap year? I heard so many bad stuff with people saying, every person who says you're gonna take a gap year never end up coming. And I was like, okay, that's a few people, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who end up coming back after taking a gap year. I genuinely believe there are a lot of people who come to school after taking a year off.
They couldn't go to college, not because they had a plan, but because they needed to find themselves, to travel, to breathe, to experience.
That's the rich lifestyle. Girl, I wish.
Listen, there's no shame in taking a break. Sometimes that time off is necessary, especially if school has burnt you out. But the problem is this break becomes your whole life. 1 month becomes
Yeah, don't let it consume you. Don't stay static.
3 becomes 6, and before you know it, they've built a full routine around doing absolutely nothing. Wake up late, stare at a wall, play some Valorant, hit up their local gas station for dinner, and repeat. But they'll keep saying, trust me bro, I got plans. And when you ask what those plans are, it's always vague. Big things coming, I'm in a building phase right now. They'll talk about launching something like they're Elon Musk, but the closest thing they've launched is a DoorDash order. They keep referencing the economy like it's the reason they haven't made a move yet. Like, I mean, with inflation the way it is right now, bro, you don't even pay for gas. What are you talking about? And look, we've all been there to some extent. The weird limbo phase. You're technically free. You don't owe anyone anything. You're just kind of floating. And for a while, that can feel amazing. You're not answering to teachers. You're not stuck in a classroom. You're not dealing with exams or deadlines. But if you're not careful, that float becomes a free fall. You stop.
Wait, but I feel like if you're in this state, right? The way that he's talking about, won't you feel guilty for not doing anything at all? I feel so guilty that I am not doing anything. And then I feel even more guilty because my parents probably think of me as a failure at that point. Obviously, they don't, but I just think about it, I don't know. I feel like that. I wonder how people do it without feeling guilty.
Making decisions, you stop trying, and you convince yourself that you're waiting for the right moment when really you're just scared to start. Gap years are fine, resting is fine, vibing is fine, but if your gap year turns into a gap decade and your life plan still revolves around a clothing brand that does not exist yet, maybe it's time to clock back in. Next up, we have the friend who straight up disappears after high school. High school ends when this person vanishes like it's a Marvel post-credit scene. 1 minute they were at every hangout, every group chat, every chaotic late night Discord call, then poof, they're gone. They stop replying. They leave the Snap group chat without saying a word.
So
they're not mad. They're not beefing. They just dipped. At first, you're like, maybe they're busy, but then weeks turn into months. Birthdays go by. Inside jokes get forgotten. And the next time
they got a life. They got a lifetime. That's what that means. That person was like, all right, I'm gonna go serious mode. And so he went serious mode. He closed off all his social media and is focusing on his life, bettering his life.
Time you think of them is because Instagram reminded you with one of those weird people you may know stories where they're standing in front of a Jeep with a quote like, only forward from here. Then one day out of nowhere, you run into them. Target, gas station, Taco Bell, doesn't matter. And it's the weirdest interaction of your life. Oh my God, how have you been? Good, I'm just working a lot, grinding. Yeah, grinding what? No one knows. You're half
You know what? That's fair too. You can also distance yourself from that whole group in general. That's an okay thing to do. I did that technically. A lot of people will do that, but I feel like this is different from what he's talking about.
Expecting them to tell you they're a freelance monk or something. And the thing is, they're not weird or rude or distant when you see them again. They're chill, they're polite. It's like catching up with a coworker you forgot you used to be best friends with. You part ways with some, awkward let's hang soon energy, knowing damn well it's never happening. And it's not a bad thing really, it's just what happens. People drift, they move towns, they get new jobs, new circles, new priorities. But it still hits you sideways when someone who was in your life every single day just becomes a memory. You start realizing how many friendships were based on proximity, not purpose. Y'all weren't soulmates, y'all just sat next to each other in biology for 4 years. And it's weird because when it happens, you think you did something wrong. Like, did I say something? Did I forget to reply to something important? No, they're just on a different path now, and that's okay. Yep. It still stings, but it's okay. Eventually, you'll be that person to someone else too. You'll vanish from their life, pop up months later. Yo, it's been a minute, DM with no explanation.
There's so many people that I was like that too. Where, sometimes things drift apart. Especially when it comes to online interactions. There has been many groups I was in when I was younger, and we would chat every day. That group would chat every day, months on end. And then, everybody just drifts apart,
All right, next up, we got the bum. There's the gap year person, and then there's their final form, the bum. Because the gap year person pretends that there's a plan. The bum, they're not even pretending anymore. They're in a deep void. No goals, no job, no plan. Just vibes, vape clouds, and a mattress on the floor. Their sleep.
Dude, I know someone like this. I know someone like this who was a roommate 2-3 years ago. Oh my God. Oh my God. It is so annoying and depressing to look at, because even if you do say something, they'll just wave you off and they don't care. It's just so annoying to look at, because you see them wasting away, and they sometimes even have potential too that, you could see them doing really well in life, but they decide to just throw that away and they vape. or they do the Canada stuff, and I don't know, all those type of things. I should hate it. I fucking hate seeing that shit.
You ask them what they're up to, and they'll go, just chilling lately, trying to figure stuff out. Bro, it's been a year. What are you trying to figure out? Shapes? They'll randomly bring up business ideas that sound like fever dreams, like, I might start a CBD candle line. I've been looking into, like, vending machines and passive income, you know? You look over and they're watching a 6-hour YouTube documentary on crypto by a guy named Finance Daddy. They haven't applied to a single job, not because they're unqualified, but because they haven't updated their resume since 10th grade when they worked at Chuck E. Cheese for 2 weeks.
Oh.
And here's the thing, it didn't start this way. Most of the time, the bum used to be the gap year person. They took a break to chill and they just never got back up. It's like when your computer goes into sleep mode but never wakes back up. That's them. It's being stuck in like a permanent loading screen. That's kind of the post-high school lineup. There's definitely some people I haven't covered, so 10,000 likes for a part 2. Whether you're in college pretending to take notes on a Zoom class or working 10-hour shifts debating if a Costco membership counts as an investment, you're not alone. None of us know what we're doing, and the ones that do, they're probably faking it better than the rest of us. Everyone moves at their own pace. Some people jump ahead and crash. Some fall behind and catch up later. Some disappear and come back with a beard and a business. But no matter where you're at, just don't get stuck. Don't let temporary become forever. Don't let comfort become your cage. And
don't let comfort become your cage. Always push to change. You'll never know where it might take you. Be used to being uncomfortable.